So Camille, who's doing our videography work, which I certainly appreciate, she has asked me some really good questions. And one of the things she asked me is, how did this get started and why? And so, it's actually a very interesting history, which I'm going to share with you. Back in 2002, actually in 2001, Brother Abel Simeona, folks, pretty sure a lot of you folks know him. He was living out at Kaua'a Bay on the Big Island in Kau. And when we got involved with him, he was already on his 16th arrest and eviction from the same place, which he considered his family land through his genealogical ties. Anyway, so on that 16th year, he had called everybody to try to see if we could help him. And people were coming from Hilo and from Kona all into Kau to help him. And this eviction was supposed to take place at 6 o'clock in the morning, so everyone was converging on Kaua'a Bay at that time. And then we found out that they decided they're not going to come until early evening. So in a very hustled way, we all went running to the courts to see if we can get an injunctive order to stop them. Well, it turned out that my friend Keone Choi and I, we went the wrong direction. We went into Hilo, and everybody else ended up in Kona. And so we were in Hilo, we went, oh shit, we looks like we missed the gang. And so we were thinking, like, we have to be able to think on our feet. So I said, you know what, let's do this. Let's go over to see Eleanor Huna, Kupuna Eleanor Huna, and let's go talk to her. And so we went over there, and I talked to Eleanor, and I said, Auntie, what I need you to do is I need you to write me a direct order from Na Kupuna, as a Kupuna, to myself and Keone Choi, who are Nakoa from Puako'ola Heiau, to go down and stand for that land at Kaua'a Bay for Abel Simeona. And so we had her write it in English and in Hawaiian. And at that particular time, in 2001, the Sheriff's Department was the only one who could conduct an eviction. So, trying to think very fast on our feet, once I got 3 signatures of prominent Kupuna in the Hilo area, I went directly to the Sheriff's Department and faxed the copy of our marching orders, essentially, to the Sheriff's Department in Honolulu. And only so I could say there's no way you could not have gotten this directive. And so, and it was very interesting because it was no longer just us guys deciding we're going to do something. We were actually getting orders from our Kupuna. So we figured, look, if you have a problem with this, you should talk to the Kupuna because we're just following directions. As silly as it may sound, it was a very good move. And so what happened is we made that move, and it startled them so much that they stopped. They did not even try to do an arrest for well over a year. And so after the 1 year period went, I said, you know what, it worked. Okay, we know that this pattern works, so let's do better than that. Let's formally organize Na Kupuna Moku Keawekane. And so after spending almost 24 hours on the road going, because we have the biggest island of everybody, we were going through the different districts looking for specific kupuna that we knew that were the power structures in their area. And so that's what we did. We found them. And by the way, just to make sure that you folks know, the reason why you have only this many names on these documents is because of money. Because we were going to print it and it cost per letter, yeah? And so, being that this was a wild idea of us, we had to come up with the funds to have this published. And so we only just took the structural names down. But there are very many more that conferred to this. And so once we were able to do it, it went across so well that we actually started doing meetings every district. We go from district to district once a week. We go from right around the island, just continually going around the island, presenting all the different things that were facing us as Kupuna, the challenges that were coming our direction, everything from geothermal to military build-up to water usage, all these things that are still at our table, still things that we are dealing with. And it was very effective at the time. It caused a lot of stir because there was finally an organized body that they could see was really organized, and that was us. Even though we were just a basic skeleton. but the idea and the concept was really, really well done. And so, after that year, we knowing that it worked, it took us about another 6 months to get it together to round up all these kupuna who could confirm with this documentation. Of course, I'm the one who dreamed it up. I'm the one who came up with the words and stuff like that. But, you know, and you folks gotta know this. Working with kupuna is not easy. You know, kupuna are very hard to convince things. And first of all, trying to get them to all think alike at one time is really a feat. You know, because they're all on different time schedules and all this kind of stuff. So I used to tell everybody, look, if we have a 5-hour meeting, if we get 15 minutes of pure concentration, we're doing really well. Because it used to take sometimes that many hours to get 15 minutes together. And so like I said, I came up with these words and these positions, but it took a very, very long time for the kupuna to understand and agree that we can make such a statement and not really be not doing anything that would be considered rebellious or anything like that. It was really a snapshot of where we were. What are the things that are binding us? What is holding us down? And we were going to address them. And you know, if you know these kupuna that are on this list, a lot of them worked for the state at the time, you know, or well within the state's establishment. And for them to take that stance of making a statement like we have over here was a very, very big charge. And so I continually appreciate them. Now, what had happened is that I was also very, very involved in challenging license plates. And so I spent 9.5 years in court doing license plates, and then finally came down to I got my trial by jury and still lost. Okay, so I'm actually the president of the state regarding traffic and driver's license and stuff, which I'm very happy to share with anybody who needs their help, which I know they're going to need it, because now they're starting to do the arrest on all these Hawaiian license plates again. And so, anyway, it took a long time. And the kupuna, you know, we wrestled a long time as to who would be qualified to carry this message to other islands. And I am very fortunate to say that they selected me. And you know, when the kupuna select you, you kind of think to yourself, yeah, sure, they're not really, you know what I mean? So even me, I was in doubt whether or not they were really trusting me or not. But I had been reassured over and over and over, and I'm still reassured to this day, that I do have the blessings of the kupuna, and they left me, of which most of them have passed. They left me with their word, and I carry that with the highest honor. And I am committed to continue carrying it with the highest honor. In fact, we always say that we want to present ourselves with the dignity of the Queen, because why should we present ourselves as anything less? You know, we are a dignified, we're an amazing people, you know, but we are also a downtrodden people. We have been beat to death. Yeah, things have been taken from us, our languages are taken away from us, our food. We can't, I mean, you know, we talk about aopua, but can anybody describe to me an aopua that doesn't get separated by a tax map key? And this is what the problems are. And so we know that the only way to face this problem that we're facing now is we have to do it collectively. Yeah? And by collectively, I mean that we have to have some kind of uniformity. You cannot just have one island speaking for all the rest of the islands without the other islands conferring. So there must be a way we can do that. And so in our minds, we're looking at, okay, how does the Hei move? Okay, the Hei got one big head with big freaking eyes, yeah, but got all these arms that are going all over the place. And so I look at those arms as the islands, yeah, but they're all feeding back to the same central, yeah, which is Ko Hawai'i Pai'aina, you know. And so once we get this group of island peoples in their own island conferring together that this is the avenue we want to take, then we can speak as a nation, and we can speak strongly as a nation. And they cannot simply divide us like they do. You know, we have problems on Mauna Kea, they had the meetings on Oahu. You know, same thing with Kauai. They have problems on Kauai, have the meeting on Oahu. they do this continuously, so we're never in the right places at the right time. But if we follow through with this idea, this thought that the Kupuna had endorsed, we can. One of the things we did too, we made little stamps. This little blue stamp that we had, that we'd stamp on top of our papers, that would say, "Na Kupuna Moku Keawe, public document." So everybody knew that this was a true public document from Na Kupuna Moku Keawe. Well, similarly, can the other items do the same thing? You could say from Iolani, Moku Iolani or Moku Iolani Po. By the way, just to let you know, the island of Kauai in 2008 followed suit with us. Iolani Mahuka actually came up and followed me and walked every step with me to form Na Kupuna Iolani Po. Now, again, one of the things that had happened is my time had run out playing the game with the licenses, and I was sentenced to jail for one set of tickets, and I was sentenced to 1 year, and then during that time, a whole lot of my kupuna, my prominent kupuna had passed away. And then while I was in jail, my son had a heart attack, and my son was dying. I actually, when I came out of jail, I had to watch him for 2 years die, and it was very difficult. So that really stymied the effort that we were doing with Na Kupuna. And that recovery was very difficult for myself. And so we have not been together since 2011 was the last time we were together. And that time we were together was to reconfirm or reaffirm what we were doing and what we published in 2003. But the idea is certainly a good one. It is one that is actionable. Okay, now this is going to get interesting because this invitation that I've asked people to come to Iolani Palace for is that, when we first started finding out about what had happened with the overthrow and all that kind of stuff, one of the things that we talked about is, look, you got to return to the scene of the crime. You got to start from the scene of the crime to start adjusting what had happened to you. And so, where did that happen? It happened at Iolani Palace. And so for the last 16 years, this is going to be my 16th year, I've been holding vigils at Iolani Palace on the weekend of January 17th, every year for 16 years now. I also do it on July 4th to register our notice that we are not celebrating independence because we are not independent from the United States of America. And so, one thing about me is I'm very consistent, I'm very persistent, and I don't want to change my position until we make sure it worked. Okay? And so, again, there's a whole bunch of people. This is the first time I've ever had so many people to acknowledge the invitation. There's over 3,300 hits on it so far. So even if we had half of those people understanding what it is and came, the impact, the social impact of a photograph of all these people standing there for the Queen, does it matter that we know what we're doing yet? No. It matters that we know who we are. Because 20 years ago, we didn't know who we were. We didn't know how to do this. But now we do. Now we do, and now we are capable. And so, the thrust that's being made now is that my trajectory says, look, if we can all be at the palace, I know that there's all kinds of conferences going on other places, and they're very good conferences, but there is nothing like a photo op, okay? January 17th comes around once a year. That is the infamous day in history that our Queen was taken over by the United States military, the Marines. And so January 17th is an extraordinarily important day. This year it falls on a Sunday, okay? So my trajectory says, if we can all be there, I don't care what meeting you're in, if you can just embrace the power of the people and show up at the palace, 12 noon, show up at the palace. Let's do a photo op, because that photo op is going to go around the world. There is no greater form of protest than the people themselves standing there. Okay? All the petitions in the world, all the documents of opposition, all that kind of stuff, that's all fine and dandy, but that can be all manufactured. What you can't manufacture is the blood, the people, the actual people. Okay? And I know, we know, that there are other countries watching this, and they want in, they want to help us, but they want to see us that we're together. So I'm asking everybody, no matter how important your task is that you're taking on right now, please take the time out to do one of the most important tasks, to stand with your last queen. Okay? It's going to make a big, big difference. And how do I know? Well, because it's a matter of odds. It's really a matter of odds. I've been at this a long time. We've been waiting for this magic moment. This is the time. We have so many things that are on our table that are hitting us from so many directions that even though we're fighting and we're mounting good fights, they don't have a central. They don't have a central mind like a Haiti would. So what we're trying to do is put together that one mind. So, just like you get the Haiti head, yeah, and then you get the arm that goes out. And all those arms have little suckers on top that can pull in all the little groups. And so all that information still comes to the central head. And we can act as one body. And so, again, I truly invite you and desire your presence. January 17th, 12 o'clock noon. That's a Sunday, the 17th. But just to let you know, our vigil starts on the 16th because we have lots and lots of stuff to talk about. There's many, many models people want to discuss. There's many issues like Kanai'olavalu, Kauinoa, Nai'aupuni. There's the DOI hearings. There's all these backdoor things. All these things need to be talked about. But, we need to talk to them. We need to talk broadly. We need to have everybody hear it. We cannot just keep having little meetings here and there with 10 people, 20 people. We've got to figure out a way to branch out much bigger. And we have that technology. We have the technology at our disposal. We just have to utilize them and utilize them knowing that the whole idea of it is that you have one central mind. Yeah. And all that central mind has to be is not America. That's all it has to be. It has to be that you believe that you have the right to be Hawaiian in your own kingdom like we were. Maybe we're not all together as to exactly how that's going to manufacture itself. But the fact that we're there to even say, yes, we are Hawaiian, and yes, we belong to the kingdom, and we do not accept anything other than that. That'll say so many things, and believe me, there are so many other countries that are watching us that want to see what we're going to do. Mauna Kea was a marvelous draw together, but what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about the military? I don't know if anybody's even thinking about this thing, but in the DOI report, they talk about not only are we going to lose control over our 1.8 million acres of ceded lands, but they're also talking about the 88,000 acres or 88 million acres of the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. That's the Hawaiian archipelago. That's ours. We're not even thinking about all that space. Yeah, and how about all that space above us? Where all those satellites are. That's ours. And so what I see for Hawaii, I see a mecca. I see a mecca of knowledge, of peace. We're a neutral nation. Yeah? A mecca of intelligence where information flows freely. Yeah? Where schooling should be free. I believe in our country, schooling will be very free for anybody on any level that you want to be on. Yeah? So you can make the best contribution you can to your kingdom. And that's the whole purpose of it. But it's such a unique spot because we're not only, at one time we were extremely military strategic. That kind of strategicness is not as important today as it was in the past because now they can fly a plane across the oceans. Okay, they couldn't do that before. But what we have a strategic location. We have a place where nobody else can come to. We got 2,600 miles of nobody. That makes us an ideal place for a Pacific Peace Center. Okay? I don't know if you folks know it or not, but at one time there was actually designated through the state legislature the Sparky Matsunaga International Peace Center, which never materialized. But they did do it. So what I'm saying to you is that the potentials are there. The potentials are absolutely enormous what we can do here. Yeah? But unless we as Hawaiian people have control of it, yeah, we're going to find ourselves at the back end and maybe not even being here. Because right now, they're pricing us right out of the islands, you know? And it's only happening because they're playing their system on our grounds. And once we can show that we are one people, then we can reverse all these ridiculous laws that they've done that make us not available. We can take back, we can challenge and take back Hopi, places like that, yeah? You can challenge the United States' use of the Northwest Hawaiian Islands, yeah, Kupuna Moku. That's a marine sanctuary, but it's more of a military training ground than anything else. Now, that doesn't benefit us, yeah? And so, we have so many things that need to be discussed, but they need to be discussed in great manner, yeah? And it needs to be discussed in a manner where we all know that our smallest contribution, our smallest minds are a contributor, and it will add to the greatness of the whole. And that is what's important, is to add to the greatness of the whole. Because, you know, as they say, the sum of the whole is greater than all its proponents put together. And that's exactly what it is, the sum of the whole, and that's what we're looking for. And so again, I invite you folks down. I hope you come down, and one of the things I ask is that, you know, I've been doing this for 16 years, you know, and sometimes it's just me and a few other people, and I drag all the stuff from the Big Island, all my tents and all that kind of stuff, you know. And so what I ask is that when you come down, as much as I know that you're eager to share with everybody, let's do it in a real dignified manner. Let's follow some simple protocols, yeah? Because what we need to know is most of the stuff we've talked about before. And so, you know, I know what it is to be young and to think that you got the answer, or you've got an answer that nobody's thought of yet. But certainly there was somebody before you. And that's why it was really important that we put on our banners in the footsteps of our ancestors, because it's really in the footsteps of our ancestors. We're just following through, okay? I'm proud to do it. I'm sure you are too. So, it is a kako thing. So, again, I look forward to you guys coming. It's only a couple weeks away, man. And just to let you know, I've got all the paperwork together, the bathroom's secure, the PA is secure. The only thing I don't have, here's just what you guys need to know. My permit allows me to have 2 20 by 20 canopies, along with the chairs and mats and everything else like that. I'm allowed to have 4 tents that are going to be allowed to stay there overnight, okay? Which we will determine who can and who cannot stay at that time. But at the same time, I've been at this so long that they don't even question me anymore. And so if we had a few extras, I don't think that would be any problem at all. Okay? And so the key to this whole thing is allow me to do what I do best. I'm the kahu of this, okay? I'm the one who put it together. And all the parties who I have to deal with in the state, look at me as the focal point. So everything anybody does there all reflects on me. Okay? So I ask you to be considerate of me too, and conduct yourself in a manner that would make your queen proud. Okay? That this is her keikis. We are her people, and we are still there with her. Okay? Anyway, that's what we're doing. And what we would certainly need is more chairs, and pune'e or whatever you have to lay on or whatever. And because we have 3 days there actually, or 2 days there, there's going to be a time we have to take breaks because this is all so heavy. Yeah. Bring your ukuleles, man. Bring your guitars. Let's kind of compete at the same time. You know. There has been no provisions for food yet because I'm not allowed to cook there, only because I've not been able to maintain that. So, but we have all kinds of people who are down there that are prepared to cook, okay? All we gotta do is know who we're cooking for, Okay, it'll all work out. Believe me, it'll all work out as it has in the past. Okay, that's it. I'll see you guys down there.